that this week, a lot of people, their minds are very heavily weighed by the coronavirus and every bit of craziness that's attached to it. And I wanted to address that with you guys today. I was very fortunate and was able to catch a Facebook Live with Emily Aarons and Kim Woods. And you've heard me talk about both of them before. This particular one was addressing the coronavirus and helped me to feel a little better and really helped me to understand the energy that's happening right now. They talked about what's going on in the world and how that energy of the universe is affecting how we feel about what's happening. You know, the energy itself is kind of chaotic and all stirred up and crazy. And then you add to that the craziness of what's going on around you, and you have this fear-based craziness that is leading people to do very strange things and to worry and to be so upset about everything. And yet, my biggest takeaway from their Facebook Live yesterday was accept that your faith will get you through all of this and don't let yourself be led by fear. I haven't honestly been particularly afraid because I listened to the facts, I've looked at information, and I've been proactive. Um, the information is out there if you want to do the research. I'm going to share a little bit of it with you here in this segment, but I want you to know that unless you are in one of the high risk groups, your chances of dying from the coronavirus are lower than dying from the seasonal flu. Okay, so let's talk about this. One of the things that Kim shared with us is that right now we are being ruled by the surfer, which from one of her oracle decks gives you that feeling of, okay, surfers ride the wave, they go with the flow. That's what we should be doing. We shouldn't be allowing ourselves to be overwhelmed. Instead, we should be proactive, because when we react, we get overwhelmed. When we are proactive, we are prepared, and that's something to think about. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't be taking normal common sense precautions regarding the coronavirus. Social distancing is important right now. It's important for you to stay in unless you need to go out so that you are not coming in contact with someone who may be infected, because this is a very communicable disease. It's very contagious. So if you are in contact with more people, you run a higher risk of contracting the virus. This is an introvert's dream, to be honest. If I don't have to leave the house, I'm not going anywhere. Fist bumps and thumbs up are acceptable greetings now. We don't have to shake hands. We don't have to hug. Close personal contact, especially with people that may have been traveling, is something that you want to avoid right now. You're going to wash your hands as often as you think about it and wash it for long enough that you're actually taking the germs off. But this is something you should be doing every day anyway. So it's not like this is a new thing. It's not like this is something out of the ordinary. Once you've washed your hands, try to avoid touching your face. And I know how difficult that is. I'm sure you're counting how many times I've touched my face so far today. And I have an itch in my eyebrow right now, so I'm going to do it again. We touch our faces all the time, even though we've known for ages that it's a great way of communicating germs from your surfaces to your body. Right now, try to be conscious of it. If you've been out and you've come in contact with people or surfaces, try to keep your hands away from your face. And I know I think about it more now than I have in the past, but I also know that there are sometimes you got to scratch an itch. So don't panic. If you have a fever, a cough, trouble breathing, any of the symptoms of the coronavirus, go to your doctor, get tested. I understand that it's expensive to go to the doctor when you're sick, and a lot of us have avoided it. I can tell you that I have not been to a doctor for an illness, and I couldn't tell you how many years. And that's because I don't have insurance, and I understand that. However, in this case, because we know that this is a disease that's causing problems worldwide, it's important to go to the doctor, get tested, and then if you are positive for the coronavirus, to isolate yourself, to self-quarantine. Keep yourself away from all the people in your life. That way you're not sharing this particular virus because of how easy it is to share. These are common sense things that you can do. This is a proactive approach to how to deal with this situation. If you're not in one of the high-risk groups, the common sense precautions should be enough to keep you safe. And even if you do contract the virus, you should recover, and you should recover fully. The high-risk groups are people over 60 with pre-existing conditions such as heart disease, diabetes, those sorts of things, and people with compromised immune systems. These are the higher risk groups, and if you have someone like this in your family, check in with them, make sure they're still feeling well. But if you're not a member of one of those high-risk groups, stop panicking. It's not as deadly as the seasonal flu has been. And we know that this year's flu wasn't that big of a deal on the news. You know, it may have been a bigger deal worldwide, but we didn't see it. We weren't constantly bombarded with it the way we are being bombarded with the coronavirus. So keep in mind that some of what you're feeling is fear based on that dump of information that we've been getting about the coronavirus. According to the WHO and the CDC, this is less deadly than the SARS and H1N1 outbreaks from past years. And you didn't see the kind of panic then that you're seeing now because we were given more information and fewer reactive pieces of nonsense that we've been getting this time. We knew the facts and that gave us comfort, so we didn't panic. That means it's up to you to educate yourself. If you're concerned about the coronavirus, rather than worry, which doesn't help anybody, do some research. Find out what you need to know to be proactive rather than reactive in this time of confusion. It's up to you to be responsible for your own reactions to what's going on right now. Remember that you can freak out, buy up all the toilet paper you can find, and cover yourself in antibacterial gel, which, if you think about it, isn't for viruses, though it may make you feel better. It's not designed to take out viruses. It's for bacterial. That's why it's called antibacterial. You can research the facts, arm yourself with them, and then choose to be a leader rather than a lemming. So once you know what's going on, I promise your heart is going to be eased. And then you can stand up and say, look, people, we don't need 90 rolls of toilet paper for the next 2 weeks. We're going to be fine. As for the astrological energy, I'm going to direct you to the January energy clearing and astrological outlook that Emily and Kim did earlier this year. They shared the details of the crazy 2020 energy that we're all dealing with, and they did it much better than I can do it here. So I'm going to put a link on this video here in just a moment. Remember that 2020 is a rite of passage year, and what that means is it's going to test you in every way that it possibly can so that you come out on the other end stronger and better able to be the best person you can be. You'll be expected to lead. We are the leaders that we've been waiting for, so don't back down when you're asked to lead. You'll come out of this year stronger and more sure of your path than you went into it. The energy is going to begin to settle, but not for some time. It may be June before you start feeling less chaotic energy. So strap in and try to enjoy this roller coaster ride. And for now, the two things to remember are ride the wave and go with the flow, and pivot, not panic. In other words, find a way to take control of what you can control without losing your mind, and release what you have no control over and let the universe handle it. I want you all to know I believe we will survive this craziness and will thrive with the passing of the year. I want you all to be careful, be smart, and be a leader.